And now the report of the Executive Director of the NRA Institute of Legislative Action, Chris W. Cox.
Thank you. Always get stuck following Wayne. It's not right. Ladies and gentlemen, did you ever have the memory of some event in your life sneak up on you out of nowhere, smack you in the face, and make you cringe with regret because you wish you had done something different? I'm not talking about college indiscretions. I'm talking about Election Day 2008. You know, I bet a lot of people look back on that day and wish they could turn back the clock. Well, unfortunately, we can't. But you can steer the course of the future or slam on the brakes when you push that button or pull that lever on Election Day. Because when you vote, you set into motion cascades of events that change our lives for the rest of our lives. Here's what I mean. 10 years ago, almost to the day, NRA President Charlton Heston stood here in Charlotte and called on NRA members like you and gun owners across America to vote freedom first. And on Election Day 2000, you did. But you didn't just stop Al Gore. Your vote won us a lot more, like the confirmation of Attorney General John Ashcroft, who proudly changed the position of the United States government in support of the Second Amendment as an individual right. That was necessary because just the year before, Bill Clinton's Justice Department said that under the Second Amendment, you have no personal right to own or use a gun. Well, with your voice and your vote, you put an end to that lie. And in 2002, your vote stopped another lie when you elected a Congress with the guts and integrity to let Bill Clinton's gun ban expire. And by voting freedom first in 2004, you did a few things. You kept John Kerry out of the White House. That's not all. You kicked Tom Daschle out as Senate Majority Leader. And you crushed 7 years of roadblocks to finally give lawsuit protection to America's firearms industry. You saved the Second Amendment from bankruptcy, but not with bailouts, with your ballot. And the results are being written into history books. Because through Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Sam Alito, your one vote for President Bush secured 2 new votes on the U.S. Supreme Court. And 2 years ago, American history was made, when the court finally said we were right, our opponents were wrong, and the right to keep and bear arms is the individual right of every lawful American, period. Now, since this is a family gathering, I'm not going to use Joe Biden language, but this is a big deal. An individual right means those school books that try to brainwash our kids through revisionist history are history, but it's not over. As you know, Chicago Mayor Richard Daley thumbed his nose at the Heller decision and continued to ban guns. So we sued. And in just a few weeks, the court will decide another historic case, McDonald versus Chicago. Folks, we won't stop until all Americans, not just the rich like Mayor Bloomberg, and not just the arrogant like Mayor Daley, but all Americans have full access to the Second Amendment, whether they live in Washington, D.C., Chicago, or right here in Charlotte. Here's another way your vote makes a difference. Every pro-gun leader you elect or anti-gun politician you defeat means fewer bad laws and more good laws. Good laws that make us all safer and prove that we're right, the gun haters are wrong, and they need to keep their hands off our safety and our freedom. We're seeing it in state houses across the country, where thanks to you, we keep winning. We've improved right to carry in 7 states this year. That's important because every time we reduce fees, extend the lengths of your permit, or expand where you can carry, can mean the difference between life and death. Real self-defense form is real health care reform. Our medicine, Castle doctrine in 24 states. No Katrina gun confiscations in 28 states. Right to carry in 40 states, and reciprocity spreading across the country. And you know what? Our victories are making every American safer. Even the gun haters who just don't know how lucky they are to have us out there. And since November 2008, there's a lot more of us out there. Folks, we've changed the whole debate on this issue. To show you what I mean, please watch this clip from an Ohio news program last month.
People in Ashtabula County are apparently taking the advice of their public officials to buy guns and learn how to use them. The county is facing huge cuts in law enforcement, and Channel 3's Dick Russ found that residents there are concerned about this.
Well, you know, over the month, the strength of the Sheriff's Department in Ashtabula County has been reduced by more than half because of budget cuts and the resulting layoffs. It's been suggested people will have to protect themselves, and many are doing just that. When there's only one patrol car per shift for the entire county, and that's over 700 square miles, it may have been just a matter of time until Ashtabula County residents heard this advice.
Arm themselves, be very careful, and just be vigilant, because we're going to have to look after each other.
And with the county jail down to just 30 prisoners because it doesn't have enough guards, county residents had another reason to worry. 700 people waiting to be locked up, but can't be.
Can you imagine a news program about a judge telling people to arm themselves 10 or even 5 years ago? I can't. But he's right. People are concerned. We're worried, and we're mad as hell. Can you blame us? Look at what these politicians are doing. Wayne talked about it. To pay for things we didn't ask for, can't afford, and don't need, they're scrapping things we can't live without. It's crazy. They're flooding our streets with violent criminals, and at the same time, they're firing cops. Why? So they can build art walks and electric cars for government bureaucrats. When you add an attorney general who's never had the guts to actually prosecute criminals, we know where it all leads. And when all this hits the fan and the politicians want cheap, easy answers, guess whose guns they're going to come after? Yours and mine. And it's not just our politician. These global gun banners have joined forces with freedom-hating governments. Their goal? To impose universal gun control on us. But they're not just in smoke-filled rooms at the United Nations. Please watch this video.
The mayors of Paris, Mexico City, Amman, Philadelphia, and beyond aren't here to discuss Chicago politics, but one thing they want is greater attention to international gun trafficking.
This is coming from international mayors. They're saying, we're tired of your guns, America.
Their joint resolution demands more oversight from federal governments and the World Court in reducing gun trafficking.
People are being killed every day in the United States of America with illegal weapons. I love the Second Amendment. I think I have a First Amendment right not to be shot.
Folks, I don't know where in the First Amendment Mayor Nutter finds the right not to get shot, but I guess it does allow him to shoot off his mouth and show how little he knows about the Constitution he swore to defend. My message to Mayor Nutter is simple: learn how to read. But my message to the UN and Mayor Daley is also simple. The National Rifle Association of America will never allow foreign countries or hack politicians to trample our sovereign freedoms. Our Constitution's permanent, but courts can change. President Obama just nominated a second candidate to the Supreme Court. Who knows if there'll be a third or a fourth? Well, what could that mean for you? Last December, Justice Ginsburg gave a speech about creating a future, wiser Supreme Court. And guess which 5-4 decision she said it could reverse? You guessed it, the Heller decision. These are all games the elite play to get their way,